everyone. Welcome back to our channel, اسمع English. Today, we have an incredible story for you. A story about 4 friends, Leila, Kareem, Sami, and Dunya, who shared a passion for music. From humble beginnings in a small attic filled with old instruments and big dreams, they faced challenges, learned new skills, performed in small gigs, and finally rose to international fame. This story is full of friendship, creativity, struggles, triumphs, and the journey of turning a dream into reality. Stay with us as we follow their journey from learning music together to their first performances, and finally becoming stars known around the world. In a quiet neighborhood on the outskirts of a bustling city, 4 friends shared a secret passion: music. Leila, the soulful singer; Kareem, the prodigy pianist; Sami, the rhythmic drummer; and Dunya, the lyrical genius, often met in Leila's small attic, turning it into their makeshift studio. It wasn't much, just old instruments, some scattered sheet music, and a tangle of wires, but to them it was a sanctuary. Every evening, after school or work, they would gather, letting melodies flow and dreams take shape. At first, it was chaotic. Leila's voice cracked, Sami's drum beats were uneven, and Kareem's fingers stumbled over complex chords. Dunya scribbled lyrics frantically, erasing and rewriting, trying to capture the essence of the songs. Yet, in that chaos, magic began to emerge. One night, a simple chord progression that Kareem improvised became the backbone of their first original song. Leila sang with a trembling voice, and Sami found the perfect rhythm on the old drum kit. Dunya whispered lines that seemed to float in the air, almost as if the song wrote itself. By the end of the session, they were exhausted but exhilarated, realizing for the first time that their passion could transform into something real. The next few months were a whirlwind of learning. They enrolled in workshops and music classes, each diving into their craft with determination. Leila worked tirelessly on her vocal techniques, learning how to control pitch and emotion. Kareem explored composition and arrangement, studying both classical pieces and contemporary jazz. Sami experimented with drumming styles, sometimes late into the night, while Dunya learned to fuse lyrics with electronic beats, crafting stories that could resonate with anyone. Their weekends were spent performing at school events, local cafes, and even street corners. Some days were discouraging, empty audiences, instruments that refused to cooperate, and nerves that betrayed them during performances. But every challenge strengthened their resolve, and slowly the neighborhood began to notice them. One rainy evening, they received an invitation to perform at a local music festival. It was their first big public stage. As they arrived, the sound of cheering crowds from other performances filled them with both excitement and anxiety. Backstage, Lila's hands shook. Sami tapped his drumsticks nervously. Kareem adjusted his piano bench repeatedly, and Dunya muttered lines to herself. When their turn finally came, they stepped onto the stage, facing a sea of unfamiliar faces. The first notes wavered, but as they continued, something shifted. Lila's voice soared, Kareem's chords resonated, Sami's beats commanded attention, and Dunya's lyrics pulled the audience into their world. By the final note, the crowd erupted in applause, leaving the four friends breathless. For the first time, they felt the true power of music and realized that their efforts were beginning to pay off. After the festival, opportunities multiplied. They were invited to record their first demo at a small studio. The experience was both thrilling and intimidating. For the first time, they heard their music played back professionally, every nuance amplified. Mistakes became evident, and perfection seemed elusive. They spent hours adjusting tempos, harmonies, and lyrics. Yet, with each recording session, their confidence grew. They began posting their songs online, sharing them on social media, hoping to reach a wider audience. Slowly but surely, their followers increased, messages of support flooded in, and soon they were performing in larger venues. However, fame did not come without challenges. As their music gained attention, rival bands and critics emerged. Jealousy, competition, and harsh reviews tested their friendship and resilience. During one tense rehearsal, a disagreement erupted over creative direction. Lila wanted a pop-oriented style, while Kareem insisted on a jazz fusion approach. Sami and Dunya tried to mediate, but frustration ran high. After a long night of arguing, they decided to step back, taking separate walks to clear their minds. By the next morning, they realized that their bond and shared dream were more important than any creative conflict. They compromised, blending styles, and the result was a song that none of them could have imagined alone, a perfect harmony of their individual talents. The breakthrough came when a renowned music producer discovered them online and offered a contract. The friends could hardly believe it. Suddenly, the small attic studio was replaced with a professional recording studio, complete with state-of-the-art equipment. They were guided by seasoned producers, learned advanced recording techniques, and polished their performances. Their first professional single, Echoes of Tomorrow, became an instant hit, capturing hearts across the city. Interviews, photo shoots, and television appearances became part of their routine. They traveled for concerts, experiencing new cultures and audiences, but always stayed grounded by their friendship and shared history. Over the next few years, Laila, Kareem, Sami, and Dunya achieved international recognition. Each found their niche. Laila as the soulful vocalist, Kareem as the innovative composer, Sami as the rhythm master, and Dunya as the poetic lyricist. Their music evolved, blending genres, experimenting with sounds, yet maintaining the authenticity that had drawn fans to them in the first place. Despite the fame, they never forgot the attic where it all began, their sanctuary, their laboratory of dreams. In quiet moments, they would reminisce about their journey, the countless hours of practice, the nervous first performances, the arguments and reconciliations, the sleepless nights perfecting lyrics, and the exhilarating applause that made it all worthwhile. They realized that their story wasn't just about music. It was about perseverance, friendship, and the courage to pursue a dream relentlessly. One evening, after a sold-out concert, they gathered backstage and looked at each other. "Remember when we couldn't even hit the right notes?" Laila laughed. Kareem smiled. "And now look at us," Sami said, tapping the drumsticks gently. Dunya added, "We created something bigger than ourselves." They sat in silence, reflecting on their journey, knowing that this was only the beginning. The world had witnessed their talent, but the bond they shared, the four notes of destiny, was what truly defined them. And so, the story of Leela, Kareem, Sami, and Dunya stands as a testament to the power of passion, hard work, and friendship. They had turned their dreams into reality, showing that no matter how small the beginnings, dedication and unity can create something extraordinary. After their first big hit, the four friends Lila, Kareem, Sami, and Dunya found themselves in a whirlwind of excitement and pressure. The music industry was larger and faster than they had imagined. Suddenly, their daily routines were no longer just practice and jam sessions. Interviews, photo shoots, studio sessions, and fan events filled every hour. At first, the thrill was intoxicating. Laila loved meeting fans and seeing her songs inspire others. Kareem enjoyed experimenting with new sounds in the studio. Sami thrived performing live, feeling the crowd's energy. Dunya, however, sometimes felt overwhelmed, struggling to balance creativity with the relentless schedule. One rainy afternoon, during a studio session, tension flared. Lila suggested changing the arrangement of their next single to make it more pop-friendly. Kareem, deeply invested in his complex piano and jazz fusion arrangement, disagreed. Sami and Dunya tried to mediate, but voices rose, frustration spilling over. In the heat of the moment, Kareem stormed out, leaving the others in stunned silence. That night, Leela, Sami, and Dunya sat quietly, reflecting on how easy it was to let disagreements threaten their bond. Meanwhile, Kareem wandered the city streets, replaying melodies in his head, unsure whether to compromise or stand firm. The next morning, Kareem returned, and they had a long conversation. Each friend shared their fears, their visions, and their hopes. They realized that the strength of their music lay in combining their unique talents, not sacrificing one for another. They began collaborating again, this time blending Lila's catchy hooks with Kareem's complex compositions, Sami's dynamic rhythms, and Dunya's profound lyrics. The result was their most ambitious song yet, Rising Tides. As their fame grew, so did the challenges. Competing bands, critics, and even internal doubts tested them. One evening, they received an invitation to perform at a prestigious international festival stage, bigger than anything they had ever imagined. Traveling abroad for the first time, they faced culture shocks, language barriers, and exhausting schedules. Backstage, they struggled to focus, distracted by nerves and jet lag. Yet, once they stepped on stage, the collective energy of the crowd and their shared history pushed them forward. Leela's voice rang clear and powerful. Kareem's piano intertwined perfectly with Sami's percussion, and Dunya's lyrics resonated deeply with everyone. The performance was a triumph, but backstage, the exhaustion reminded them of the cost of success. Offstage, they also faced personal struggles. Lila found herself missing quiet evenings and the simplicity of writing songs with friends without pressure. Sami battled fatigue, feeling his energy drained by constant travel. Kareem, though passionate, struggled with creative blocks, questioning whether he could keep innovating. Dunya wrestled with perfectionism, rewriting lyrics endlessly to meet her high standards. Each of these moments tested their friendship, forcing them to support one another not just musically, but emotionally. In the midst of all this, they stumbled upon a small music academy in the city where they had grown up. Nostalgia hit them hard as they walked the familiar streets, remembering their early days. Inspired, they decided to host a workshop for young aspiring musicians. Lila taught singing techniques, Kareem gave lessons on composition, Sami demonstrated rhythm exercises, and Dunya helped students write lyrics. Seeing the joy and excitement in young faces reminded them why they started, the pure love of music. They realized that giving back could be as rewarding as performing on the world's biggest stages. Meanwhile, their next project, an album titled Echoes and Horizons, required them to push their limits. They experimented with electronic beats, orchestral arrangements, and unconventional instruments. Kareem introduced a rare type of keyboard, Sami used world percussion, and Dunya wrote lyrics inspired by travels and human emotions. Lila experimented with vocal layering, harmonies, and storytelling in her singing. Long nights in the studio turned into days, and days into nights, but the synergy of the four friends fueled their creativity. Every disagreement ended in compromise and understanding. Every idea was debated and refined, resulting in music that was richer and more layered than anything they had produced before. Finally, after months of work, the album was ready. Its release was a major event. Fans worldwide eagerly awaited new songs, and the critical acclaim was overwhelming. The friends reflected on their journey. From a tiny attic with old instruments to sold-out shows and international recognition, their bond had endured challenges, competition, and self-doubt, proving that friendship and collaboration were at the heart of their success. One quiet evening after a long tour, they gathered on a rooftop overlooking the city lights. Lila hummed a new melody. Kareem tapped out chords on a small keyboard, Sami drummed softly on a crate, and Dunya whispered lyrics into the night air. They laughed, reminisced, and dreamed together once more. They knew that the world would always change, challenges would continue, but as long as they had each other and their music, they could face anything. And so, the journey of Lila, Kareem, Sami, and Dunya continued not just as famous musicians, but as for friends bound by dreams, passion, and the unbreakable harmony of their hearts. Their story was far from over. Every note, every song, and every performance was a new chapter waiting to be written. Asterisk, and that's the story of Lila, Kareem, Sami, and Dunya, the four friends who turned their passion for music into a life-changing journey. From messy first jam sessions to sold-out concerts, they learned that hard work, friendship, and perseverance are what truly make dreams come true. Now we want to hear from you. Which part of their journey inspired you the most? Comment below and let us know which moment in their story was your favorite. The first jam session, learning and practicing, performing in small gigs, or achieving fame. Do you think friendship helped them succeed more than talent alone? Which character did you relate to the most? Leela, Kareem, Sami or Dunya? What would you do if you had a dream like theirs? Would you chase it no matter the obstacles? Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing stories of dreams and determination.